So I'm just glad I didn't watch this movie with my parents or any relatives. Today what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the newest A24 horror movie called X, released in 2022. So just relax, sit back, grab a snack, grab a drink, and just welcome back to another video here on this channel, Royal Horror. Jungle of love. So just before we start this video, I just want to say that I really wanted to film this review directly after watching the movie, but because I have many mixed thoughts, I was not too sure about doing that because I feel 50-50. I still feel 50-50 about the movie, but as the days passed by, the movie grew so much on me, so that's why right now I feel ready to do this review. So as you know, and as I've done the reviews that I have done in the past, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about positive things, negative things, and those will involve things like the character, the storyline. Because this is a slasher, we're gonna talk about things like the blood, the gore, the killers, the victims, etc. And also we're gonna talk about a little bit about the cinematography, things like the lighting, the audiography, special effects, editing, post-production, all of that. And at the end I will say if I will change something, and overall my overall grade and my overall thoughts. In 1979, a group of young filmmakers set out to make a different film in a casual farmhouse in rural Texas. Their reclusive, elderly host takes especially interested in their young guest, and as a night falls in, the couple's leering interest takes a violent turn. One of the positive aspects that come to mind, and this is not related to the film itself, this is more related to the company A24. And one of the things that I want to say is that I really enjoy the risk this movie is, because obviously this is completely different when it comes to horror movies and slasher films, because this is a slasher, and obviously coming from A24, we all know A24 is mostly hit or misses. So, and we haven't seen this before in an A24 movie at all. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that the directors, producers, they took a risk with this film. They knew what they were doing. They knew the risk they were gonna take. They were risking that this movie was gonna be very loved or very hated. And we're gonna talk more about that at the end of the video. Now, another positive thing that I really enjoyed is the storyline. But I think the storyline is very well paced. I think it knows how to start, it knows how to develop, and it knows how to end. We will talk more about the ending without the spoilers, of course. But I think in overall, the storyline knows how to show us the character, where they are, what they want to do, why they want to do it, with what kind of purpose. The storyline knows how the characters interact with the landscape, how the landscape interacts with the characters. And overall, the storyline is very well paced. Like in my case, I never felt bored because I was always interested on what the next scene was gonna be. Another great thing about this movie is the characters. I think overall the characters are very enjoyable. I think the acting was great because obviously this movie is taking place in the 70s, and I think the cast, they knew how to act as if they were from Texas, and if they were living in the 70s. I believe these people were from Texas because of the accent, because of the way they move, the way they talk, the expressions. You believe this movie is taking place in the 70s. Another great thing from this movie, and I said it just before, is the antagonist. They are kind of unique. Like, you haven't seen this kind of antagonist in a slasher film before. Another beautiful aspect from this movie is just the atmosphere. I loved the way this movie looked. And one of my favorite also positive aspects from this film is the gore. I think the gore was beautiful. I believe, because obviously this is a brand new movie, so I haven't searched like behind the scenes, but I believe this is all practical because it didn't look CGI at all, and honestly I could feel that it was practical effects, so I really enjoyed that. I don't want to give it too much spoilers because this is a brand new film, so I don't want to go into details with the death, but I really enjoyed overall every single kill. Also, I really like the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack, like, the songs are from the 70s, they're not like modern songs into the 70s. Like, I think the songs that are on this film, they actually came out in the 70s, so that's a great point. I also love the soundtrack when it comes to the kills. Also, I don't want to give too much spoilers, but one of the antagonists is very, very, very creepy, and because of the soundtrack and the audio, you feel her movements, you feel her body, her hair, her teeth, and it's very creepy and it's very sinister, and I really like that because without that I don't think this antagonist will be memorable or creepy as it is right now. Now, coming to the negative aspects from this film, I will say, in my opinion, one of the first ones will be that even though I love the gore and even though I love the kills, I think they're not unique and I don't think they are memorable. Now, another negative part from this movie, and this is also in my own opinion from my own based first viewing after this film, and is that this is not supposed to be a comedy, and there were many times where I was laughing and I don't know if I should have laughed, and many people in the cinema, they were also laughing, and I was like, wait a minute, this is not described as a dark comedy or as a comedy horror. This is just a pure slasher horror. So I don't know why some writing or why some scenes were so laughable. I don't know if that was intention or if it was not, but I was not looking forward to laughing this movie, to be honest. I'm not annoyed because I did, but I don't think that's the purpose of this film. Now, I think this is gonna be a quite controversial, this negative point of this movie. And we all know the main reason why these characters, they wanna be doing this. We all know what's going on in this movie. And in my opinion, I think it was too much. I think it was too much on your face, at least in my opinion. I don't mind sexy scenes in movies, don't get me wrong, I don't mind that, because it's normal. Characters have sex, people have sex, and the movie says it itself. So we all know the reason why these characters are doing that. And in my opinion, I personally am not a fan, and I personally don't like that subgenre in filming. So I was not a big fan of seeing that in a horror movie, in a slasher, in the big screen. But that's just my opinion. Like, I appreciate it because obviously this makes the film unique. And another negative things, and I think this is the last one, it's just the end is kind of rushy. I think there is a sequel coming up already. Like, when they were making X, they were already making the sequel or prequel. But the end of X is very rushy, and I really didn't like that. Like, the last 10 minutes, they happen like very quickly. Like, you didn't even have time to stop and analyze. They just happened so quick, blah blah. And also it was kind of cliche, because obviously we have seen this kind of ending in a slashers many times. And I thought, because this movie is very unique, I thought the ending was gonna be also unique and original, but it ended up being a little bit cliche. And when it comes to the cinematography and all of that jazz, like I said before, I love the movie it's produced. I think the camera used was beautiful. I think the green editing and the post-production work was also great. You believe this movie takes place in the 70s. I really love that. I love the color palette. I love the orange of this movie. I love the yellows. I also love at nighttime, like, you feel they barely had lighting, because obviously this movie is supposed to take place in the 70s. So there's not supposed to be so brightness at night, and I really like that. And obviously I really like the editing of this film. I think this movie is well edited because, like I said before, it has a 70 effects, and also the shots are great. There is so many shots where you feel the characters' emotions, maybe sexual or not sexual, and I really like that because you communicate with a movie because of the shots. If the shot doesn't communicate with you, you don't feel what the movie is feeling. Wow, that was so inspirational. And just in overall, one of the things that I would change the ending to not being so cliche. Like, make the main character and make the final character suffer a little bit more. Just a little bit more, because that character maybe didn't suffer too much in the film. Maybe the sequel will explain why, because obviously the end kind of interacts with the sequel already. But just in overall, I think and I believe this movie will grow so much on me, because I'm so ready to rewatch this, to own this. So I'm so excited because I know, and like I said on my Letterboxd review, I know this movie will grow on me. I gave 2 stars and a half just because of the negative aspects that I mentioned before. But I know on a second rewatch, I know this movie is gonna be maybe 3 or 3.5. So if you don't agree with me, it's okay. If you agree, it's okay. Let me know in the comment section below. Just subscribe, give a like, and leave a comment. That will help me in tremendous ways. And I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.